Hello and welcome to our day 3, lesson 2 of Celebrate You. And today we're going to talk about, in this lesson, gratitude. One of my favorite topics of all time. I just love gratitude. It means a lot to me because I first of all, I wrote a book on it, and I really feel strongly that if we stay in a place of gratitude, and if we live our life through the lens of gratitude, it really has such a long lasting, impactful experience for us. It just leads us into some really cool places. So, I want to talk a little bit about what I know of gratitude and give you some examples, and hopefully, you'll feel committed and challenged to also bring out your lens of gratitude and start looking through it more every day. I really believe that it brings us to a place of peace, to a place of goodness, and to a place where we can start to see, even in the toughest of times, that there is some good that can come out of things. So, one of the things that I really have found about gratitude is that I don't need it to be a big, hairy deal. In other words, I just need to be ready and willing to see small glimpses of gratitude, as I said, even in some days where it doesn't feel like I want to be very grateful, that I don't really want to give thanks, or as a matter of fact, I'd rather complain, if I'm just being honest. And I think, too, for some of us, we um, think that gratitude is sappy at times, and that it's one of those things that dismisses everything else that's happening. And I would offer it only enhances everything that's happening. And I have learned so many hard lessons around making sure that I stay in this place of gratitude and looking at what is the lesson for me to learn. So, one of the things that I always encourage people to do is to begin each day just before you get out of bed. Give yourself permission to just lay there and to say a few words of thanks before you even begin your day, to plan out ahead, kind of think through what it is you want your day to look like, and to just say, and thank you for all that I will be experiencing today, and commit to using your lens of gratitude. And as you go through the day, if moments are moving you and you are just like, gosh, this is kind of cool what just happened, make sure that you give a small moment of thanks then, too. And what you're doing is you're just building and creating a day that is built all around gratitude. And then if you go to bed at night, or when you go to bed at night, for those of you who do, I shouldn't have said when you go to bed, or if. Um, when we finally get to a place where we can rest, how's that? Um, to just list out all of the things you experienced in the day that brought you to a place to give thanks. And you might be surprised at how long your list is. I know I have been. There are days where I didn't think I was really going to be able to find much. And all of a sudden, I started listing everything out. And I thought, well, I did not have a bad day at all. There were some really cool, good things that happened. And I think, too, for many of us, as I said, I think we tend to think we have to have these big, big moments, and they're not big moments. For example, I had an experience, I have it over and over, where I get so excited when I remember I have a tweezers in the car. I have been at many a stop sign, and that bright sun that comes in makes it look like you have a full beard. And there's some facial hair and a mustache, those black hairs that just stick out and start to move, and you didn't even notice them in the morning. Well, I've noticed them at stoplights when I'm looking in the mirror. Well, here's how I get a moment of gratitude. I go, I got those tweezers in my car. And then you take those tweezers out and you pluck away. Now, yes, it can create some embarrassment. I'm not going to lie. I have had moments where I'm at the stoplight plucking away, and the guy or gal next to me are watching me. Now, if it's a woman, I hold up the tweezers and I have gotten thumbs up before. If it's a guy and I look over, he quickly looks away. So I just want you to know, don't worry about it. It's your moment. It's your time. It's your tweezers. Do with it as you would like. Because the other people, either they're going to give you a thumbs up or they're going to be embarrassed and they'll look away. You just take care of yourself. So that's a moment where I was like, I'm so grateful that I remembered to put my tweezers back in this little cubby thing that I have in my car. So I also want to make sure that you see gratitude in moments where you might be feeling like, gosh, this is really hard. This is really dark. This is really heartfelt at this moment. And I can't bring myself to find anything to be grateful about. And I challenge you to keep trying. I know for me, being with my brother-in-law in his last moments before he passed, that wasn't really a time where I was going to think I had gratitude in my heart or could see it. And honestly, what I can tell you now is that I do see gratitude, that I was able to experience his last words, that I was able to be with him, that I was able to tell him that I loved him. And I now see that moment or those moments where I was filled with such sadness and despair as being moments also that I see much gratitude, much to be grateful for that I was able to be there. So I want you to know that it takes time sometimes to understand how we can see our gratitude in some of those moments that are trickier, harder for us. I also think that it's trusting that good's going to happen. And that's hard too, especially, look at what's happening around us. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't feel good. And if we were to stop and say, well, I'm grateful for, as we're watching, the news report, we might not see anything that we're really grateful for. So maybe that's not the place we need to look for moments of gratitude. So then we got to look for other places. So I'm not here to say that Pollyanna stuff where, oh, just find the good in everything, because sometimes it's hard. And it might not be happening in every experience that you have. And so if you can help yourself to move on and to see some other opportunities. And that's when you pick up your gratitude. Then that's what you need to do for yourself. So don't keep banging your head against the wall or don't keep trying to see something that isn't going to be there. It might be that you just have to move on. I think for a lot of us, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When we're ready and we can start paying more attention to gratitude, I feel like it just unfolds and happens, and it's it's magic and it's beautiful. So being in a state of gratitude again is a challenge, but it's one that I think is well worth it. It's something to prepare for if you haven't experienced a lot of gratitude lately, or if you're challenged to see the good in certain situations. I'm not here to judge you. I don't want you to judge you. I just want to encourage you to really try to see what is some good that is happening in your day. And again, it's just different pockets. You may not find it in every experience that you're having. There's times when you might be in situations, as I mentioned, that are struggles for you. And I would encourage you to step away if your goal is to try to see something in that to be grateful for. Step away from it and take yourself out of that experience so that you do have a chance to look at it, because sometimes when we're experiencing it and we're right in the middle of it or the moment of it, that isn't the time maybe to start asking yourselves to see the what am I grateful for. But I also think living that life creates calm, and that's something that I'm all about these days, is just calming it down, getting to a settled place and trusting that what needs to happen is going to happen, and that I have some say in some of it. And other times I just need to trust that whatever I was supposed to learn or whatever I was supposed to get, that I'll be able to do that. And that is freeing because it takes me out of the role of controlling everything, which I would encourage you to seek some solace in as well. So let's talk about ways to enhance our practicing of gratitude. Well, expressing it, and we talked about, or I did a little bit, writing it down in a journal at night, making a list in the morning, putting it on your, on a wall somewhere in your house that is a what is that called? The dry erase marker wall. If you have a chalkboard, you can just write down things that you've been grateful for. But I really think that if you can at least come up with 3 things each day that you're grateful for, it really is going to continue to propel you into seeing even more each day as you practice this. Practice forgiveness. There is a lot to be said in letting go of keeping what it is that we've been harboring for anger and hurt. That's that dark stuff. And I think once we can get to a place of practicing forgiveness for others, it doesn't mean we excuse the behavior, because some people have not treated us well. So it's not saying, oh, that's okay, you can treat me however you want. No, but it's saying to ourselves that I'm going to forgive that person or that incident or whatever it was. Doesn't mean it didn't affect me in a very strong negative way and I feel bad about it, but I'm going to get to a place where I can let go of it, that it no longer controls a lot of my thoughts or the ways that I do everything. The other thing is perform random acts of kindness. And we talked about this earlier, that when we give of ourselves in a way that has no meaning to have to be getting a payback or for any recognition, it just buoys ourselves up to this place of experiencing good. And again, back to that magic that we have. And then we can feel grateful for the chance and the opportunity to make a difference for somebody else. Take care of our own body, of putting ourselves in places and spaces that help us to be our best self, whether it's through eating better foods, drinking water. Gosh, I'm trying to drink more water. And I'll tell you, every time I do this, I have to be very close to a restroom at all times, because I didn't realize how little water I was drinking until I started drinking the amount you're supposed to. So take care of yourself, rest when you need to. We say there's no judging in this house when we take naps. We believe in the power nap around here. Going to bed earlier if you're staying up too late, getting up earlier if you're getting up too late. Just what do you need to do to help yourself to feel better and to take care of yourself? Just some regular routine things. If you need to make some doctor's appointments, make those appointments, get there, get it checked out. No longer worry about what's happening. Ask the questions and find and seek the guidance of an expert in that area. I think you would just feel relieved, and you'd feel grateful maybe for the information you're going to get. Follow our dreams. We talked about that, how important it is to set those realistic goals and to start having a plan of action and what we can do to accomplish them, making them so that they're easy, obtainable, and something that we continue to want to be supportive of for our own self-discovery as well as our own dreams. And to just be you. To figure out who you are and to celebrate that. Oftentimes we're so good at figuring other people out that we forget to say like what our special gifts are and what our special talents are. We're so good at telling other people, oh my gosh, you're so good at da 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 da. Well, how about if we start letting people know what we're good at too? Not to say we're going to get out there and say, ta da da, unless this is what you want to do, and stand on some sort of platform and just let everybody know what you're good at. But I think to put it in conversations, to um, offer it up in different ways so people know what to expect about you, and to not be afraid to let other people know what you're really good at, because you might find that that's going to match up with one of your dreams, and then people are going to want to start tapping into you for that information or that kind of work or whatever. You just never know what might start to happen when you tell somebody, I really am good at painting, or I'm really good at feng shui and can put a room together just lickety split. Gosh, you might find that people are like, oh, well, I am not. And so I would really love to, get your expertise. And boom, right there, you're starting to have a plan or follow a plan, and somebody else is tapping into your wisdom around something that you have as a dream. Create a ritual, somehow to just give thanks each day, whether that's something you need tangible, like some candles or crystals or stones. If you need a little space or place in your house where you can just come to, be quiet, play some music, do some meditation around. But whatever it is for you, just create that ritual. And maybe it's simply at night you give thanks. You're just closing up shop for the night, and right before you close your eyes, you give thanks. It doesn't have to be this big production, but it is something ritualistic that you do, and it's something you do every day. And I think the more you practice it, just like anything, the more it becomes a part of your routine, the more it becomes a part of your routine, the more it is a part of you and how you would describe yourself. Um, Look for everyday magic. You've heard me talk about this magical stuff. What I mean by that is just pay attention and watch for the beautiful sunsets and sunrises. That's magic. Watch for birds at the bird feeder and how they interact with each other. Watch for how other people are kind to one another in our snow blowing driveways or are offering to go grocery shopping or whatever it is. That's the kind of stuff that's magic. That's the kind of stuff that needs the recognition in this world, to just simply pay attention to what's going on and what acts of kindness are being done each and every single day. There's our magic. Give yourself little luxuries. You don't need to have a spa in your house. Although that wouldn't that be nice? If you do have a spa, yay. If you want a spa and you don't, okay. But you don't need to have it be that big spa in your house to give yourself little luxuries. I love coffee. So occasionally I'll allow myself to just drive over, as I told you in my story about random acts of kindness and being in line for the coffee. I'll just drive over. I love Starbucks. And so I go to Starbucks and that's my little treat. That's my little luxury. I get a coffee. Cinnamon dolce latte, no foam grande. There it is. I say it all the time. And I think if you remember to indulge yourself occasionally, like if you like to read really good mysteries, then go to that store that has those really great books that you like, or let people know you're looking to do a book swap, whatever it is, but allow yourself the luxury to do those things. If you like, I don't know, I'm trying to think here. If you like to cook, maybe the little luxury is you get online and you watch an online cooking show and you learn some more about techniques. But it's just little luxuries that you afford yourself occasionally so that it's just something to look forward to. It isn't because you have to pay yourself back for all the good you did or all the tough stuff you've had to deal with. It could be, but I'm saying make it a part of the routine so that it's not based on whether you've had a good day or a bad day. It's really just a part of who you are. You afford yourself those small little luxuries. And then the last one that I have here is to let go of stuff and people that do not serve you well. If we start with stuff, I think we'd all agree we have plenty to get rid of. And I have a whole porch full of stuff that I'm going to get rid of in a garage sale coming up this spring. And I know that even in this room that I'm in, there are so many things that I don't need that I could relieve myself of. And it serves no purpose for me, really. And it just clutters up my room, clutters up my mind when I look around, and I don't like the feeling of it. So if you have those things, it's okay to purge them. It's okay to get rid of them and to give them away. Maybe some other family, some other person will find such greatness and beauty in what it is that you want to give and get rid of out of your space and place. And people, that's a tough one. Um, for me, it's really important that I surround myself with people who lift me up, who are supportive. They don't always have to be positive because that isn't who we are all the time. But I know that should I need them, they will be right there. And I can tap into their kindness, their strength, their support. And I would really offer that you find people like that. And if you have more people around you that don't do those things and you're always the person that seems to have to lift everybody up, um, I would offer that maybe you just start to back away just a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm just going to take some time to kind of focus on myself. And so I'm not going to be as available. And I just want to give you that heads up. There's multitude of ways to let people know you're kind of backing up from them. And also, I would say trust that intuition. If there's people and things that you get around that don't feel right and don't feel good, pay attention to that as well. And it is so okay to not engage in those settings or with those people. It really is. Give yourself permission. Many of us have been through so many things already that we just don't need one more thing to have to deal with or worry about. So, when we get to the workbook, I just want you to pay attention to a couple of questions. Most importantly, what gives you reasons to feel grateful and gratitude? I think that's really important to focus on. I'm going to take this off because I'm starting to get those shadows again. And ask yourself, how can you create more of that? If you find that you have things that you listed out that gives you reasons to feel grateful, how can you have more of that in your life? What can you do to have those opportunities? And then what potentially gets in your way of feeling gratitude? Is it that you're not allowing yourself to pay attention, or is it that you're not experiencing being around situations, experiences, people that are bringing you to this place of gratitude? And that's something you have to think about, isn't it? And decide what you want to do with that. And then what first steps are needed for you to begin practicing gratitude? What could you do? We listed out a few things, but what do you want to do? Because this isn't about anybody else. This is about you and what works for you. So you decide. This is, again, this whole plan and all these action steps are about you. It's to celebrate you and to prioritize you. Okay, next session, we're going to start talking about specific action steps. And I appreciate that you've been watching. Take care, and we'll see you the next go around.